I'm going to show you how I got these below market value properties, saved 156 grand on stamp duty and generate 11 grand a month for the rest of my life. Hi, my name's Kevin McDonald. I've been a property investor now for over 19 years and I've built up a multi-million pound property portfolio using creative property investment techniques. Right now I'm outside probably the most exciting property deal I have ever done. It is literally every single property that you can see on the camera. That entire block. See the block in the background? That entire block. And the block right here beside us, that entire block as well. Literally everything you can see on camera right now. Before I take you around, show you the properties and talk you through the numbers, make sure you like, subscribe and hit that notification bell. So we've got 34 units in total. Then the entire block here. There's another block here and the block directly behind you. So there's 34 properties, 23 of them we are purchasing the entire property. So the freehold, the leasehold, the entire property. 11 of them, the person who is selling them to us had sold the leases on 11. So we own the freehold, we get ground rent, we get service charges, but there's only 83 years left on those leases. So they're worth a lot of money. So all of these properties are owned by a company. It's the only assets within the company. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a few minutes. So 16 shareholders, so some of them in their 70s, some of them in their 80s. They just wanted to sell the company and enjoy the cash. So I'll talk through the numbers and all the details about the deal in a few minutes. But before that, let me show you the portfolio. So all of these properties are fully tenanted. So there's nothing to do. There's no refurbs to be done. There's no finding of tenants to be done. They're just completely tenanted, every single one of the blocks. These were built in the early 2000s with the plan to be retirement homes. However, in 2006, the previous owners converted the planning to have them used as residential. So what we've purchased is residential units. There's 9 different parking places there. There's an entire car park here. And over on the third block on the far side, again, there's another entire car park. So there's parking for all of the properties. So it's not just the blocks of properties we've purchased, it's all of the grounds, all of the roadways, all of the car parks, everything. So this is the second block, the roofs, everything. They're only 20 years old. They've all got C-rated EPCs. So the energy performance certificates. From 2026 onwards, the government are introducing where rental properties must be at a C-rated EPC. All of the refurbs we're doing at the moment, we're future-proofing to make sure they're C-rated today. There's going to be a big opportunities coming from landlords that are not thinking ahead. This entire portfolio, it's all already C-rated. There's literally nothing to do. Just we received the keys and the income starts coming in. So this is the final block. It's 12 properties here. You see lots of parking again. Now, my bread and butter is buy, refurbish, rent, refinance. So it's buying properties, refurbishing them, refinancing them, adding value to the properties and renting them out. I typically do single-lets. I do mostly houses in multiple occupation. I do a lot of rent-to-rents. We do a lot of lease option agreements. This, though, as a portfolio, as you go up the food chain, to get 34 properties in one go will add massive value. It is below market value. But there's some stuff I want to talk to you about on this deal that make this deal absolutely phenomenal. Number one, right, is the saving of the stamp duty we mentioned earlier. 156 grand in stamp duty. Number two is we've got over £250,000 off the true value of the development. But the best bit of all is one of the current owners is staying in the deal with me, and that is funding pretty much most of the entire purchase. Let me take you back to my office and explain just how that's possible. Before I break down the numbers on this deal, if you want to learn how you can create massive wealth through property, then go to the link in the description and download this free report where you can learn how to make a fortune in buy-to-let right now. So how did I find this portfolio? It was literally just sitting there on Rightmove. So on a normal Monday morning, I'm sitting in my office, I'm scrolling through Rightmove, and I spot this portfolio for sale right in my goldmine area. So I rang up the agents, I asked for a viewing. They told me I could view it on the Thursday, 4 days later. Great, we booked in a viewing. A few hours later, the agent sent me an email saying, we urgently need to speak to you about the portfolio. So I rang them back and they said, we've had multiple offers, right? Multiple offers, and we spoke to the owners and we're going to go to first and final offers tomorrow, the Tuesday. I'm not viewing it till the Thursday. I'm like, but can I get to see it first? They said, sorry, we can't show you the property. Now, this all seemed very strange because it was a few hours after I had asked for a viewing. I'm not saying it's not genuine, but who knows? Maybe because I manage my own portfolio, maybe what happened, is that the owner of the agency thought, wait a second, if Kevin purchases this portfolio, we lose all of the management. Because the way it was, is the lettings business they had was managing that portfolio. That's 15 to 20 grand a year in management fees. I own my own office. I've got my own team. We can manage it in-house. So they would have gained the fee for selling it, but lost 15 to 20 grand a year management income. They didn't really want me to have the portfolio, possibly. So I placed my offer. On the Thursday, the day I was meant to view, it was confirmed that my offer was unfortunately not the highest offer. That's it. I'm done. First and final offers. Somebody else has purchased the portfolio. Now, I speak a lot for Progressive Property. I speak at Multiple Streams of Property Income, which is a 3-day property investment event. And the Multiple Streams of Property Income event was the next day, the Friday. So I headed off to Multiple Streams. I'm a little bit sore that I've missed out on the portfolio. I'm standing on stage, I'm doing a talk, and after my talk, we do a Q&A with the audience. And one of my co-speakers was looking after the Q&A, introducing people in the audience. And somebody in the audience said they had a question, they put up their hand, we asked them what their name was, they said their name, and I thought I recognized that name, but I didn't link it together. Now, the reason I recognized the name was because in my due diligence of the portfolio, I checked out the company on Companies House. I checked out the directors. I was looking for information about their turnover, their annual tax returns, their corporation tax returns, to see if this was a profitable portfolio. And everything ticked the boxes. But I went home and I'm back at Multiple Streams of Property Income on the Sunday and I'm doing another talk. I'm walking around the room, I'm in the audience and I spot the guy's name badge. And finally, the penny dropped. That's the name of the person from Companies House. That's one of the directors that owns the portfolio. I'm on stage in front of a room full of people and I'm thinking to myself, is he the guy? And at the same time, I'm trying to focus on my talk. 10, 15 minutes more passed by, couldn't focus on my talk, and I just stood on stage and blurted it out. I said, are you from Oxford? He said, yes, I am. I said, are you an electrical engineer? He said, yes, I am. I said, I'm trying to buy a portfolio. Are you the owner? He said, yes, I am. I said, we need to speak. After the talk, we met at the back of the room. He said, I'm not really wanting to sell. I was like, what do you mean you're not wanting to sell? So it transpires that there is 16 shareholders in this company. But because he was only a 16.5% shareholder, he was outvoted. So under the company shareholder agreement, they only needed over 50% of shareholders to vote on the sale. Nothing wrong with this portfolio. They were in their 70s and 80s, most of them. This guy I'm speaking to is in his 60s, early 60s. He does not want to sell the portfolio. This, to me, is a huge opportunity. Solve other people's problems and you will automatically make some money. Now, a lot of people, it's great watching these YouTube videos. Hopefully you're getting massive value. By the way, if you are getting value and you don't want to miss out on more value, make sure you like, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss future videos. But at the same time, you've got to be out there. You've got to be networking. You've got to be attending events. I meet people sometimes and they say, have you gone to a Multiple Streams of Property Income event? And they go, oh no, everything I need's on YouTube. Really? Really? You don't meet people on YouTube. Right, you don't get to network with people on YouTube. I meet people and they go, oh, I've already been once. Different people are there the next time. Right, are you networking enough? Are you speaking to people? Had I not been at Multiple Streams of Property Income, I would not have met one of the 16 shareholders of this company. I would not be doing this video right now because I had already lost this deal. What we did was we arranged a meeting the next day. Now, I was buying it with a joint venture partner, so a lot of my deals are done on joint ventures. So I spoke to my joint venture partner, Brian, and I said, Brian, you're not going to believe this. This deal could be back on. I've met one of the owners. Right? What we did was we arranged a Zoom call for the next day, the Monday. We got together on a Zoom, and rather than me and Brian at 50-50, what we agreed we would keep Saeed in the deal. We would have 1/3 share each. So 33% and a third percent each, 1/3 each. But here's the best bit. Because Saeed was a 16.5% shareholder, he could increase his shareholding to 1/3 of the business without having to put any money in. Now, this portfolio we agreed a purchase of 1,670,000. I find out that my offer was outbid by 11 grand. On an almost £2 million purchase, how could the other offer be within 11 grand? It was sealed bids, or was it? Saeed, the current director, spoke to the other directors and said, listen, I've got an opportunity to not sell. I've got an opportunity to buy the business. So the other owners, what they did was they spoke to the agents and said, listen, I understand you've accepted an offer, but one of the current owners wants to stay as the owner. He wants to purchase it. Can you please tell the other buyer that unfortunately we're really sorry, but we want to go with the person we know. The person that we know, the person that we know and trust. The deal is back on. Now, this is a £2 million portfolio all day long. The rents aren't high enough. They can be increased. We can increase the rental income. We've secured it for 1.67 million. Okay, 1.67 million, there's around 200 to 300 grand of equity in there immediately. Why? Because when you're buying a big portfolio, they are difficult to finance. They're difficult to finance because they're so concentrated in one place. So you get what's called a discount, a bulk purchase discount. This means individually selling them, and they can be they're individual titles, but to individually sell them, you'd easily get way more than what we've paid for that portfolio. So in the future, if I was selling these, I would sell them one at a time to maximize the benefit of that equity. However, we've secured it for 1.67 million. Most of the money that we need to purchase is in the portfolio. Why? Because Saeed's profits from the sale are not going to be taken out. They're going to be left in. He increases his shareholding from 16.5% to 33.5% without having to put any money in. One of his biggest things was he was been told to sell by the other owners, and he had no voting rights because he didn't own enough of the share. The new shareholder agreement means that all three of us will have to agree to any future sales. This solved his problems. He wanted more control. He wanted to continue to be an owner. And from my point of view, I knew it was a much safer purchase, because if one of the current owners did not want to sell and really still wanted to stay an owner, that meant there's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing hidden that we're aware of, because the real reason for selling was literally just old age and retirement. It's the perfect type of portfolio to buy. But there's more. Stamp duty on a 1,670,000 purchase is £164,250. That's 164 grand on stamp duty alone, if you buy the properties. However, this is where knowledge is power, because we're not buying the properties. Wait a second, Kev. You said you were buying 34 properties. We're buying the company. We're buying the shares. Properties are owned within a limited company structure. There's nothing else owned within the company. So what we agreed to do was to buy the shares. One of the shareholders stays involved. The guy I met at Multiple Streams of Property Income. We are buying out the shares of the other 15 shareholders. And the stamp duty on shares is 0.5%, meaning the stamp duty is £8,350. That is £156,000 savings on stamp duty alone. A lot of people wouldn't know that. A lot of people would have bought the properties. But when you're financially savvy, when you know what you're doing, when you're properly educated, you understand the best structure to buy the properties in. 156 grand. That can buy me another Taycan. Oh, and by the way, if you want to see the video on my Porsche Taycan and how you can get an electric car, over 100 grand car for next to nothing, you can watch that here. So to purchase this, what we need is a mortgage. You don't get a mortgage for something like this from a normal high street bank. So we've gone to a bank called Recognise. The lenders are lending us 1,169 grand, and they're lending it on a 5-year fixed at 3.99%. Now what that means is our monthly payment, 1,169,000, our monthly mortgage payment is £3,886. 3,886. This portfolio will rent out for 12 grand a month. 12 grand a month. That is 8 grand cash flow before maintenance running costs. Take away even 2 grand, right, which is significantly more than it will cost for maintenance running costs, and you are still left with 6 grand a month positive cash flow after all costs for life. After working for 14 years in a corporate job, I was taking home $27.50 a month. That is more than twice a very, very good salary in this country. It is more than 3 times the average income in the UK. And guess what? There's 3 of us. This one property, this one business, this one portfolio returns each of us more than the UK annual salary. In terms of size, this is the biggest, the best deal that I have ever done. I've done some great deals. I've done some really creative deals. I've done some more creative deals. But this is definitely the biggest, definitely one of the most exciting deals that I have ever done. And how we came across it, having lost it, to meet one of the owners at an event and to get the deal back on track. The timing, everything. It's all about being out there. You make your own luck. You don't make luck sitting at home. You don't make luck on Google. You make luck by getting out there. This is a people business. You got to network, you got to meet people. So if you want to know more about property investing, if you want to learn how to start your property business, if you want to learn how to get below market value deals, if you want to learn how to get deals just like this, then there's a link in the description and in the pinned comments where you can download a free report right now that can help you get started. Also, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for this YouTube channel so you do not miss out on future content. We're releasing videos every single week that can help you on your property journey. I've been Kevin McDonald. You've been amazing. See you next time.